Going to be a quick demo on how you can issue and update a corpus on DCM. To issue a corpus, there's two different endpoints. The first one I'm going to be using is called issue corpus. And in issue corpus, the parameters are algorithm used, which is just a string representing the model, the type of model that we're going to be using. So in this case, it could be passive aggressive. In other cases, you might have like naive Bayes or something else. We also have classification URL, which is the actual Flask endpoint where the machine learning algorithm will sit that will consume your corpus to produce your model. And then you also have your corpus itself, which contains its utterances and respective classes. In this case, I'm just going to be making a very simple corpus with two classes or labels, right? And those are fruit and negative. So the fruit is when you're trying to classify if somebody's talking about fruit or simply they're not, right? In this case, I have about 3 examples of how somebody might talk about fruit, and in the other, I just have some random utterances that don't have anything to do with fruit. And of course, you have your participants right here on your state. So I'll go ahead and submit this. And we'll see how the classification report looks. And it doesn't look too good. I mean, it worked, right? But of course, the scores aren't that great. And that's just because of the lack of data that we're using to back up our model, which we can improve upon, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's add an extra row for each category here, both fruit and negative. I'll do that here in my update corpus endpoint. And I'll just add, I'm allergic to bananas actually, and I'll also add where's Carmen Sandiego to the negative to just bolster this corpus, right, to improve the score. But before that, I'm going to need the linear ID that's associated with the corpus state that we just created. So I'll copy this over here to my request. Right. Let's send it. Let's check on the classification report. All right, cool. And as we could see here, it looked like it improved a little bit, right? Let's check F1 score, for example. This looks like it has 0.5 on the negative class, whereas on here it had 0 when we initially created it. So DCM saw that the model improved through referencing the difference in scores between the classification report on the initial corpus and the newly proposed corpus. It showed a positive improvement here, and therefore it was accepted as a new state, right? A new unconsumed head of this corpus state. Okay, so these still don't have great scores. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a CSV file, which has around 15,000 examples or utterances and its respective labels to create a model. Now, this model is going to have much better performance because we have so much more data backing it up. And actually what we're going to be classifying here is if somebody's trying to book a restaurant, trying to ask about getting the weather, or just the negative class, which could be just like any kind of junk, right? So what this endpoint issue corpus with CSV takes is an actual CSV file, which this is stored on my local machine here. Again, the algorithm used, again, the classification URL and the participants. So I'll go ahead and submit this. And then we'll examine the classification report here. Okay, cool. So as we could see, the book restaurant class, the get weather class are performing pretty well. In this class, for example, I have 2,882 data rows to support this class, so that's why the performance is so high. Same thing with this class, 610 I have here, and 593 examples for the negative class. Right. Okay, now that we have a good model, let's go ahead and test out how it works by actually trying to classify some random utterances that we can get. Let's scroll down to get the linear ID for this corpus state. I'll go over to my front end, go to classify utterance. I'll give the model's linear ID here. And we'll try out, I would like to go to a steakhouse and see how it performs. All right, cool. So it says that it was classified as book restaurant, which is correct. We're not trying to ask about the weather here, and it doesn't have anything to do with something random like I'm going to the store. It properly classified our utterance. Now we can try something else to see if the get weather would work. In Spain, it rains mainly in the plain. Let's try that. Cool. And sounds like someone's asking about the weather because it contains the word rains here, right? So that's a proper classification as well. And then if you wanted to, you can try two at once. So I would like to go to a steakhouse. Will it snow tomorrow? And the way that I delimited here is through pipe delimiters. Cool. So we could see that the first one, I would like to go to a steakhouse, is classified as book restaurant correctly. And the second one, will it snow tomorrow, is weather. Right? And of course, for the last class, the negative class, say something like Pikachu is my favorite Pokemon. And that should be the negative class because it has nothing to do with booking a restaurant or asking about the weather. Cool. Negative. And that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions, please reach out.